Have you ever thought that the key to making the progress in your life or in your business is motivation? That if you could just stay motivated long enough, everything would finally fall into place. You would get the momentum. You would be able to see that outcome that you dream of. But here is the really hard and real truth: motivation is unreliable at best. It comes and it goes. And if we are hoping that motivation is going to be our key to results, we're going to be disappointed. So, today, what I want to talk through is some misguided, misunderstood ideas that we cling to, believing that they're the answer when really they're not. And here's what's going to be so great about this: the real answer, the real things that are going to help you, they are easier to obtain, not necessarily easier to maintain, but absolutely easier to obtain. And you're not going to need more. You already have what you need. So that can feel really exciting. It can also feel a little bit like you're being called out. But in the end, I really believe this episode can help you to get forward momentum happening again without waiting for these external things to make it possible. Okay, so let's jump in. And the first thing I want to say is that you don't need more time. You need less distraction. Every single one of us is working in the same 24 hours. I say this all the time. You don't have a way to add more hours to the 24 that we are each allotted every day. So, what we actually need is less distraction. And here's the reality: there is an entire billion-dollar industry whose business model, the way that they profit, is by getting you and I to stay distracted. If we scroll a little bit longer, if we watch one more episode, and I've got to tell you, Netflix's greatest feature that they ever rolled out was the auto start. They saw the biggest impact in getting us to stay longer by that little circle going around saying next episode starts in 8, 7, 6. And they even tested that to find the exact perfect amount of seconds that wasn't too short and wasn't too long and got us to stay. So that means we're going to have to be way more vigilant. There has never been a time in the history of mankind where distraction has been so prolific and so difficult to avoid. I mean, it actually is unavoidable. So, what we have to do is create better tools, better systems for ourselves so that we can get the results that we want and not become someone else's results. Instagram, Hulu, YouTube, Amazon Prime, they don't make money unless we're spending time on their platforms. In fact, Netflix's CEO Reed Hastings said at a summit that we actually compete with sleep. He said that Netflix is trying to compete with our ability to get the rest that we need, to get the sleep that we need. Because if it can get us to stay awake and watch one more, two more episodes, it's more profitable. The next one that I want to talk about is where we started this episode. You don't need motivation. You need self control. Your life isn't going to change because you did it when you felt like it. Your life changes when you commit to do it consistently, whether you feel like it or not. That is the secret. That is the difference. It's right there. It's when you show up day in, day out, you put in the reps, even when you don't feel like it. One of the things that has really helped me, and this is where we each need to find what works for us. What is your way to gamify so that you get yourself to take action? I have a printable habit tracker. I've tried different ones. I've used apps which have worked great for me, but one of the ones that's really powerful is just a printable habit tracker. I have it on the website. I write in all the different little tiny micro steps that I want to take each day that help me feel better, more confident, more motivated, healthier, all the things. And then I just check mark and I get to see myself continue to see those check marks add up. And I don't want to break the chain, right? I'm creating this chain of, oh, I did it today and I did it the next day and I did it the next day. And I don't want to break that. And so I work really hard to get myself to keep going. It's a simple way to gamify the results that I want so that I show up even when I don't feel like it. Ariana Huffington has this quote where she says, "Your attention is the most valuable currency of the digital age." And I want to flip that and make it really clear that for our goals, for the life that we want to ultimately live, for the legacy that we want to leave behind for the people we love, it is our attention that is also our most valuable currency. So, where are you investing it? Are you just giving it away or are you investing it? And it's so easy to give ourselves permission to take a break, to veg out. Sometimes we're doing it to numb. Sometimes we are doing it without even making a conscious decision. You're on this app and you're like, wait, I didn't even mean to be here. What was I doing again? But here's what I want us to understand. And I read this recently and I loved it. If you can stay stuck, you can also stay disciplined because both are habits. Okay, the next one I want to talk about after we've talked about it's not that you need more time, it's not that you need more motivation, it is not that you need more resources. It's actually that you need to be more resourceful. And there's a big shift there. There's a big difference between if I just had more resources versus if I can be more resourceful. We want to go to and default to this idea that we're going to blame the opportunity that we didn't get, or the training that we haven't had, the certification that we don't have, the lack of money that if you just had, you would then be able to invest to change your life. None of that is what's actually holding you back. It is not a lack of resources that is holding any of us back. It is always the same thing. And it's has a million different names. It's got a million different stories behind it, but it's always fear. Fear is the thing that holds us back. And remember what fear stands for: false evidence appearing real. But the moment that we see fear for what it is, we realize that we then have a choice. You can forget everything and run, and that running can look like a million different things. It can look like numbing out and scrolling. It can look like giving yourself an excuse and a reason why you don't do that thing that you know is actually the needle mover that gets you towards your goal. When you make the choice, and it is a choice that you have, you either forget everything and run, or you face everything and rise. And it's in that being willing to face the things and rise that the fear dissipates. I remember at 15 years old going through driver's ed and finding out that my next drive, we were going to go on the freeway. And I was so terrified of trying to merge onto the freeway. It was just so scary. And I just wanted to avoid it. I had this idea that I would drive back roads forever. I would just never have to get on a freeway. And all the fear was that I was gonna get in this fatal accident. I was never gonna be capable. I was gonna do it all wrong. I was gonna mess everything up. I was gonna get pulled over. I was gonna never even be given a license ever, even though I already didn't have one because I just had a permit. It reminds me of that cute animated movie. I can't remember the title, but I can totally see the scene where he's like, "Merge!" And it's just so scary because it's the unknown. Getting me onto that freeway didn't take any more resources. It took me being brave enough and resourceful enough to just take action. My favorite scripture is 2 Timothy 1:7. For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Now, that last part, sound mind, what is a sound mind? And I think we can go to the NIV translation, which says self discipline, or the ESV translation, which says self control. So, a sound mind is discipline and control. Robin Sharma said that the fears that we don't face become our limits. If I didn't ever face the fear of getting onto the freeway as a little 15-year-old with her permit, the freeway would have become my limit. I would have limited the places I could go. We have to face our fears. We have to stop giving the obstacles in our way excuses and stories and power, and instead recognize that we have the ability to break them down whenever we want to. You don't need to know how it all works out. You just need to take uncertain action and trust that you're going to figure it out as you go. Now, how do we do this? We do this by switching our mindset from I can't to I'll learn. When we shift from I can't, I don't have the resources, I don't have the time, I don't have enough motivation, I don't have the ability, I'm just not good enough. Shift from that to I can learn. I can figure this out. I will get the tools that I need in time for the next step. The gap between the life that we each want, the life that you want, and the life that you're living, it is not more time or more motivation or more resources or more luck or more knowledge. It's in power, the courage to act, to not allow distractions to win. It's in love for yourself, motivation that isn't selfish, but is built in faith and hope and trust. And it's in a sound mind, which is clarity and self control. I feel like it's this idea that we have to move forward as we plan to go on. I don't know where that's from. My brain is wanting to say Pride and Prejudice, but I'm pretty sure that's not true. I think I'm just trying to flex because if you remember from last week's episode in our wrap up, I told you how at 43, I finally read Pride and Prejudice, and I just feel so proud of myself. I want people to know. I feel like I'm in some amazing club now. Like maybe there's lounge access that if I happen to be flying through Gatwick, I'm going to get to go into this special Pride and Prejudice lounge that is complete with tea and cakes. I hope that's real. I want that to be real, but we can absolutely see that in the whole story of Pride and Prejudice, in what we're talking about, the gap between the life you want and the life you're living is courage. C.S. Lewis said, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. We don't know if we have what it takes. Stop asking, do I have what it takes? Because the honest answer is probably not yet. But you don't need to have everything for the ending yet because you're going to learn it through the story. Just like every epic movie we ever watch plays out. In the beginning, they don't have all the resources, they don't have all the tools. They learn them as they go. They keep having to face something hard, something that has so much uncertainty all around, and then they persevere, they push forward. And in the end, they end up being able to change everything. It is not different for us. By protecting your focus, by taking uncertain action, by making fear take a back seat in the car, that is how we make the difference. Because the truth is, you already have what you need. You have the power to act. You have the love that fuels why you care about the life that you're building, why you care about the thing that you want, and you have the ability to choose discipline, even on the days that you don't feel like it. And yes, you're totally going to screw up. You are going to mess up. You're going to have days where you get sidetracked, you get distracted, you get defeated. And then you're going to pick yourself up and you're going to try again. So today, please don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for clarity. Don't wait for the perfect plan. There isn't one. Just take the next small step. And then tomorrow, take another one. In the movies, it's always this giant moment that creates the change for our hero. But that's not real life. In real life, there isn't a giant moment that shifts everything for you. It's way less exciting than that. It's small acts of consistency, which I get that on the silver screen doesn't really work for climactic keeping our attention. But in real life, that's how it is. So give yourself the gift of discipline. Give yourself the gift of staying focused. Give yourself the gift of realizing you already have what it takes. Stick to the plan, not your mood.